Hello, welcome to MBC News, and you are with me, Evelis Chingambe. Coming up this morning. Government to continue constructing modern houses for traditional leaders across the country to ensure that they live in decent conditions. The Japanese government pledges continued support towards Malawi's education sector, and Speaker of Parliament appeals to the Budget and Finance Committee and other parliamentary committees to track implementation of the 2026-2027 national budget for the benefit of local Malawians. Thank you for joining us. Now the news in detail. Government will continue constructing modern houses for traditional leaders across the country to ensure they live in decent conditions. Minister of Local Government Ben Piri made the remarks in Parliament while responding to questions from members of Parliament on the issue. He said the DPP-led administration remains committed to improving the welfare of chiefs and sustaining the program, which began in 2019. The minister has since warned contractors against constructing substandard houses, saying those found at fault will face legal action.
On chiefs' houses, basically, I was minister in 2019, and we indeed started under the leadership of Professor Peter Mutharika, the president then. We started the houses, some left at window level, some left at roofing level, some at foundation level, but that did not continue in the past 5 years. You have heard from a member of parliament from Chisi, nothing happened on those chiefs' houses, but the chiefs deserves better. The chiefs needs proper houses. So we are looking at that, and once consultations are done, I am so sure that we will move from the paramount chief going down to make sure that stage by stage, considering the limited resources that we have, whether using CDF or otherwise, we are giving the chiefs proper accommodation.
The Ministry of Lands, Housing and Urban Development is banking on the diaspora community to address the growing housing challenges in the country's cities and towns. Aries Properties Managing Director Washington Chimozo explains that the country needs an average of 20,000 housing units every year to address the housing deficit. Minister of Lands and Housing Chimwemwe Chipongo acknowledges the housing challenge, but was quick to say that government plans to maximize partnerships with both the diaspora community as well as foreign investors to address the problem. Details with Trust Office.
Even though the country is blessed with vast land in all cities, towns and councils, access to housing remains a challenge as most people are struggling to access accommodation. The growing demand for housing in urban areas has also seen the cost of housing going up. A cross-section of people MBC has interacted with have acknowledged the challenge, with more others reporting fraud cases.
It is difficult, extremely difficult to find a house here in Malawi because of the expenses, and most of the times you have to use agents, which are sometimes they show you a house which you wouldn't like.
Is it difficult to find a house in Lilongwe? Because being Lilongwe capital city, it's hard for someone to find a house.
Most areas near the town, you can't get a house easily.
Property manager, Aries Properties Chief Executive Washington Chimozo attributed the prevailing situation to Malawi's position as a net importer of construction materials, which drives up the cost of construction and resultantly affecting the availability of housing.
So a typical construction contract, typically you get about 60 to 80% of that cost is just for materials alone. And again, not only is it because we're importing from outside, but there are other elements that go into it: taxation, transportation, handling, and all those other costs associated with bringing those materials into, and sometimes expertise into the country.
Whilst acknowledging the growing challenge, Malawi Housing Corporation Chief Executive Matthews Mazangati disclosed that the institution has received over 100,000 requests for housing in cities and towns, but is unable to meet the demand due to limitations of financial capital. Mazangati has, however, expressed optimism that the institution will implement key projects to address the challenge.
So basically what you're looking at is to also ensure that we're bringing in new innovations to the building environment, to ensure that we're building our structures using the affordable building materials, so that we are delivering that house within the minimum cost as much as we can.
Minister of Lands and Housing, Chimwemwe Chipungu, highlighted that government is aware of the problem. However, plans are underway to partner with people in the diaspora as well as foreign investors to help address the problem.
As the ministry will try and also engage people from diaspora to construct, flats, because we've got a policy now. Land is not increasing, population is increasing, so we cannot use the same land to accommodate the population that is increasing. But to curb that, if you build up, let's say 4 stories, 5 stories, that will suffice the problem.
As the country moves towards attaining a middle-income status by 2030 based on Malawi 2063 targets, addressing the housing challenge remains key to ensure that the citizenry is accorded with affordable housing. Trust Office, MBC News, Lilongwe.
The Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation has suspended commercial use of VIP lounges at Kamuzu International Airport in Lilongwe and Bakili Mlozi International Airport in Blantyre. A statement released by the ministry says the suspension will take effect this month on the 20th and shall remain in force until further notice. According to the statement, this measure has been instituted to allow for a comprehensive review of existing guidelines, operational protocols, and access criteria governing the use of VIP lounge facilities. However, the statement explains that access to the VIP lounges will be strictly limited to officially designated categories of users in accordance with established government procedures. It says while the suspension may cause inconvenience to previous beneficiaries, the step is very necessary to enhance efficiency, security, and overall integrity of these facilities. The statement further says that the categories of eligible users of the VIP lounges at the airports include President of the Republic of Malawi, spouse, and immediate family members, the Vice President of Malawi, spouse, and immediate family members, Speaker of the National Assembly, the Chief Justice of Malawi, former Presidents of Malawi, former Vice Presidents of Malawi, and Cabinet Ministers and Deputy Cabinet Ministers. The statement stipulates that Chief Secretary or Secretary to the President and Cabinet, the Attorney General, judges of the Supreme Court, as well as Malawi ambassadors and High Commissioners are among those designated categories of users of the VIP lounges. Speaker of Parliament Samir Suleiman has appealed to the Budget and Finance Committee and other committees to track the implementation of the 2026-2027 national budget to ensure it benefits local Malawians. Samir Suleiman was speaking in Lilongwe when he opened a dialogue on budget implementation, tracking and oversight. The dialogue has been organized by the African Institute for Development Policy, AFEDEP, and Media Institute of Southern Africa, MISA, Malawi. Isaac Jali has a report.
During the dialogue, Speaker of Parliament Samir Suleiman emphasized that the role of members of Parliament is not just to pass the budget, but oversight, to ensure the money delivers development aspirations of Malawians. Samir Suleiman went on to say that Malawi must confront persistent challenges in budget execution, including procurement delays, weak financial management systems, and coordination gaps. He therefore challenged various financial committees of the House to scrutinize how resources are utilized, track alignment between expenditure and approved priorities, while also ensuring that audit findings are not merely noted but acted upon for accountability purposes.
Corruption is rampant. We don't need to hide about it. And as I said in there, that it is only us that can fix it. No one will come to fix it for us. And we should hold hands together. You have seen the President has given us the guideline to say this is what we should follow. Let's have austerity measures. All that is to make sure that we protect the expenditure of the public purse, and we should all comply with that.
For his part, Elia Zulu of AFIDEP observed that currently Malawi is operating in an increasingly constrained resource environment. Hence, tracking implementation of the budget is vital to ensure Malawians receive what they deserve.
When a budget, like now, the budget is about 11 trillion kwacha. When there are problems that money is not dispersed enough, there are challenges, what ends up happening is that the Treasury does the most cuts on the development budget, and because that's and on service delivery. Because salaries are fixed, a lot of the recurring costs are fixed, our servicing of our public debt is fixed. So in the end, you might find that a budget is given there, but because of these various challenges, not adequate money is there, or sometimes priorities change within the budget. If there isn't adequate discipline to stick to the budget lines, money gets moved to other priorities, and what ends up suffering for the most part is service delivery.
Gordon Matonga is chairperson of MISA and says media too has a crucial role to play in ensuring that duty bearers are held accountable.
For any accountability to take place, there is need for access to information. So access to information is crucial, not only for members of parliament to be able to scrutinize budgets, but it's also crucial for civil society. Media is just one component of civil society, and it's very important that the media is able to access information on behalf of Malawians, but also members of the public themselves are able to access information. That will ensure that there's a transparency and accountability, and budgets are being implemented in a manner that serves the interests of the public.
The dialogue was organized by AFIDEP and the Media Institute of Southern Africa, MISA. Isaac Jali, MBC, Lilongwe.
The Japanese government has pledged to continue supporting Malawi's education sector. The Japanese ambassador to Malawi, Naito Yasushi, said this during a visit to Tumwe Chilazulu, where he inspected Chikangulu Community Day Secondary School. The school was constructed in 2018 by the Japanese government. Simeon Shumba reports.
The Japanese ambassador to Malawi said since the school's completion, a number of learners have diligently pursued their education at the Community Day Secondary School, growing into responsible citizens and young leaders who now contribute to the economic development of the country. The ambassador has since hailed the communities around the secondary school for their strong collaboration and ownership of the school, which has helped the structures to remain intact and resilient.
We, Japanese government, do a lot of different development cooperation. But the small-scale grant scheme, we have a small-scale grant scheme. We've been helping schools, 40 different schools or so, building classrooms. We have supported the Chikanguru secondary school 8 years ago. And then it happened to be the constituency of Honorable Mona Beka. And he himself supported that project very much. And then today it is a great opportunity for us to actually see, after 8 years, how the school is utilized effectively and also maintained well. And also we could see the ownership, the very willingness of the parents and community leaders contribute to the project. That is a great opportunity for us.
For his part, Member of Parliament for Chiradzulu Tumbwe, Joseph Mwanamveka, said the school has contributed significantly to the development of the area since 2018. Mwanamveka, who is also Minister of Finance, said the school is assisting a lot of learners in the area who have been selected to this school since 2018.
As an MP or a Member of Parliament for Chiradzulu Tumbwe, I'm quite excited and I'm happy that because today the ambassador for Japan came to visit the school which they built in 2018. At the same time, they also came to launch the construction of under 5 clinic, and at the same time, early child development center. They want to build this particular place. So I would say this, I'm quite excited today. It's a historical day for us in the Chikangulu and at Masuku, because we are going to have not only the secondary school, we're also going to have an under 5 clinic, we're also going to have an early child development center.
Meanwhile, Manaveka has also launched the construction of an under 5 clinic in his constituency, which will be constructed with financial assistance from the Japanese government. Simon Zumba, NBC News, Malawi.
You're watching NBC News and you are with me, Evelis Chingambe. A reminder of our top stories. Government to continue constructing modern houses for traditional leaders across the country to ensure that they live in decent conditions. The Japanese government pledges continued support towards Malawi's education sector, and Speaker of Parliament appeals to the Budget and Finance Committee and other parliamentary committees to track implementation of the 2026-2027 national budget for the benefit of local Malawians. Welcome back. Chairperson of the Public Accounts Committee, Stephen Baba Malondera, says the committee has extended its inquiry into the Amaryllis Hotel deal by 1 month. Malondera made the remarks in Parliament on Wednesday while responding to concerns surrounding the committee's report. He said the extension will allow all individuals and stakeholders connected to the issue to appear before the committee. According to Malondera, the move is aimed at ensuring that in the interest of justice, everyone linked to the matter is given an opportunity to be heard before the final report is presented. Meanwhile, First Deputy Speaker of Parliament Victor Musoa has stressed that the issue is currently before the committee and should not be debated in the House. The number of households affected by floods in Mangochi has risen to over 970 from 956. According to the Chief Executive Officer for Mangochi Municipality, Ernest Katsokoya, the number of the affected households has risen as water levels in Lake Malawi and the Shire River also continue to rise. Francis Banda has filed this report, being read by Owen Mavula.
Authorities at Mangochi Municipal Council are reporting an increase in cases in number of households affected by floods due to heavy rains that recently hit some parts of the country. Speaking to MBC, Chief Executive Officer for Mangochi Municipality, Ernest Katsokoya, said currently the council has set up another camp at St. Augustine II Primary School at Mbaruku, where over 20 families are seeking for shelter. According to Katsokoya, there are fears of outbreak of waterborne disease like cholera and bilharzia in some areas such as Ngalamo village, where families are also seeking for shelter in a camp. On the state of support to the affected families, the Chief Executive Officer commended government through the Department of Disaster Management Affairs (DODMA) for its timely provision of relief aid to survivors, saying currently there are 900 bags of maize yet to be distributed.
Despite that the rains have stopped coming, but we're still seeing the waters rising. We're still seeing more households still getting submerged, which is quite now challenging, and it's affecting more households. So it's a sad situation that what we're seeing out here is not what is happening along the Shire River, that the waters are still rising. More and more households are being affected by the water that is coming from the Shire River.
And in her remarks, Councillor for Nsukamwere Ward, Rhoda Banda, whose area was hardly hit, says people in the area are facing challenges in terms of mobility due to high water levels.
We are
thankful to council officials, our member of parliament, and in particular
His Excellency the President, Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika, for the support given to those affected. The village where these people were displaced is now a no-go zone. We ask government to assist us with a boat or two to help school-going children cross on a daily basis when school opens.
In recent months, there has been a rise in water levels in Lake Malawi, which has spilled over to other water bodies, including Shire River, which connects to Lake Malombe in Mangochi.
Rotary District 9210 says close to 12 billion kwacha has been secured for Malawi to support disease prevention and treatment, targeting illnesses such as diarrhea, pneumonia, with a strong focus on polio eradication. Rotary District Governor Marshal Chilenga disclosed this during a press conference on the preparations for the 2026 Rotary District Conference set for Salima this year. Emmanuel Chukonso with the details.
Zimbabwe, Zambia, Mozambique and Malawi are the nations forming the Rotary District 9210, whose members will meet in Salima, May this year. Rotary District Governor Marshal Chilenga says a couple of interventions have been made towards disease control, including securing grants amounting to not less than 12 billion Malawi kwacha for interventions, including the procurement of vaccines in collaboration with the Ministry of Health to combat polio. Chilenga says the upcoming conference will provide a platform for stakeholders to reflect on progress and strengthen strategies, particularly as misinformation continues to hinder polio eradication efforts.
Polio is only endemic in Afghanistan and Pakistan. Nigeria is now polio-free, but Malawi is joining these three countries which still have polio. So we need to make sure that we can eradicate polio from the face of the world by making sure each and every child is vaccinated or immunized against polio.
Meanwhile, organizing chairperson Sophie Kalinde says Malawi is fully prepared to host the high-level gathering and has called for collective action in addressing pressing health challenges.
We are very good organizers. At the moment, even if they had said, can we have the district conference the week after next week, we would be able to do it.
This year's district conference will be held under the theme, Unite for Good. Emmanuel Chikonso, MBC News, Lilongwe.
And now in sports, sports is more than just a game when it is played with more purpose than just a winning score. It can be a tool of national development. The game of chess is being touted as one such tool in education, as well as reformation of inmates and street-connected children. This is the case for an initiative being implemented by former Chess Association of Malawi President Susan Namangali, and Foster Maulidi explains the whole story.
It may look like just a mere piece on a chessboard, but its move across translates to a significant life-changing step to the community. This is what former Chess Association of Malawi President Susan Namangali found in knights, rooks, queens and kings on a chessboard. Through the Chess for Freedom and Chess for Street-Connected Children Reformation initiatives and Hadada's Chess Academy, Namangali has taken chess to prisons and streets to bring and restore hope to the inmates and the kids. Susan says these are not just moves, but a key to unlocking the potential in these inmates and kids.
For me, what is most important is what I do in Malawi and making sure that I take chess to the prison, and I'm happy that the prisoners are now playing international games. I took chess in the streets, so I've got street children that are now playing very good chess. I took chess to the hospital because chess is a tool. Chess can be a tool for therapy.
Patrick Kamwendo, inspector at Maula Prison, says the Chess for Freedom program has been a game changer for inmates' reformation and education, which has contributed to a recent impressive academic performance among the inmates.
One love, keep us together.
This is Masamba Gardens at the heart of capital city Lilongwe, a place that has become a cathedral of hope for the street kids, where chess is also being used as a tool for change. Peter Kachapira found the center, and through his collaboration with Dada's Chess Academy initiative, the children are finding the purpose of life from the chessboard.
Since we introduced chess, we have less crime, less people going to the police, because they think before they act. I think it's one of the changes that I've noticed. I've seen those kids doing well in class because of chess. Because chess encourages you to think before you make a move.
In a bid to inspire the kids and inmates, Nigeria's chess world Guinness record master Onakoye Tundi toured the centers alongside Gift of Chess International founder Ras Makoski. Tunde says the impact of these initiatives must not be underestimated, calling for adequate support to bridge the gaps in the project.
The tragedy of potential is that potential is nothing if it's not realized, which is why it is entirely up to us, to bridge the opportunity gap so potential can come to its full realization. And I think that is the story of Malawi.
Ministry of Youth and Sports spokesperson Macmillan Mwale hails Namangale for the life-changing programs, saying the ministry will ensure that Malawi sports policy, which is under review, supports such initiatives fully for a wider impact. In 2013, United Nations listed sports among top elements for development and peace through its vast reach, exceptional popularity, and foundation of positive values, just as chess is impacting lives in Malawi and the world. Foster Maulidi, MBC Sport.
And that's it from our newsroom this morning. A recap of our top stories before we leave. Government to continue constructing modern houses for traditional leaders across the country to ensure that they live in decent conditions. The Japanese government pledges continued support towards Malawi's education sector, and Speaker of Parliament appeals to the Budget and Finance Committee and other parliamentary committees to track implementation of the 2026-2027 national budget for the benefit of local Malawians. For more news, visit Embassy Digital on Facebook, X and Instagram. You've been with me, Everlasting Abe. Thanks for watching and good morning.
Mwagonzeka sangalala. Hello, nice to meet you.